Hey everybody, it's Robert Alaniz, and this is the Collecting the King Show, episode 12, and this episode is called Viva Las Vegas. But before we get started, I wanted to talk about something that I never thought I'd be talking about in this much length, and that is the controversy about Moody Blue. For those of you who watched the show last show, I had mentioned that when I had bought Moody Blue, okay, back when it first came out, uh, it was uh, it was like this, okay? It was on black vinyl, and it had one sticker that advertised Moody Blue and Way Down, which had just come out. And this is what it looks like, of course. Now, this is not the exact thing I bought, but this is a copy similar. As a matter of fact, when I bought this, I opened it up thinking that it was going to be black, and sure enough, it was black because it had only one sticker. But this is the way I remember it when it first came out. Okay, now the second one, the next time I saw it in the store, it had two stickers on it, and it said it was the Blue album. Okay, now I know I covered this ground the other show, so I don't want to go over it again. But what my point was, they had supposedly ran off a short run on blue vinyl. Then they switched to black, and then when Elvis died, they decided to switch back to blue. Okay, so that was the story for years and years and years that everybody was told to believe, and could very well be true. But I always doubted it because when I bought it, it was on black vinyl. Okay, and then it went to blue. And then, of course, it just seemed illogical to me in many ways because why would they press something on blue for just a short period of time and switch to black? It wasn't something that RCA did uh, um, normally. It was completely different than what they would normally do in their pressing habits. So I thought it was a little strange from the get-go when someone said, "Well, it was blue first, then it went to black, then it went back." So on my last show, I said for sure that my story is it was on black first and then blue, and that's the story. I'm sticking to it. Okay, well, since that happened, I had several people write in comments or make comments saying that they remember specifically buying that record on blue vinyl when it came out, and they couldn't remember what stickers were on it or whatever, but they do remember when they bought it, it was on blue vinyl. Then someone even sent a video, and in the video, it shows Elvis getting off an airplane in Indianapolis, and somebody is presenting him with what appears to be like a gold record award in a frame, except it's Moody Blue and it's on blue vinyl. So when I saw that, I thought, well, okay, that looks like proof that maybe it did come out because that was in June. Okay, so if the record came out in July, then maybe it was on blue vinyl for a short period of time. But then somebody else emailed me and said that the record that was shown to him on the airplane after he got off the airplane was apparently a blue vinyl that was just done for him, which in some ways made sense because, I mean, by the time that he got off that plane, Moody Blue couldn't have sold that many copies to warrant a gold record award or a platinum award. So what was that? Why was that in a frame? What was that there for? This guy said that it was a presentation just because it was cool because it was on blue and they showed it to him and that's it. So now I started doubting things again. If the story is true that it came out on blue, went to black, and then went back to blue after he died, here are my points. Here's my problems with this. Okay, why was it short? Okay, why exactly was it short run? How many did they decide? Now, Johnny B said he found an article where some guy had noted that it was, I don't know, 250,000 copies that were made on blue or pressed on blue, and before they went to black. So okay, so fine. Let's say that's how much it was. But is there documentation of it? I think there is. At least John said there was. Not sure. I haven't seen it, so I'm not 100% sure on that. But it just seemed illogical to me that it was so short. Why was there a short run on blue? Okay, then why then secondly, why did they press it on black? Why did they go this blue and then all of a sudden, somebody RCA executive said, "You know what? I got a great idea. Let's just go to black." You know, And I've heard people say, well, it went to black because they wanted to make the blue a collector's item. Well, how did they know what would be collector's items back then? I mean, they were pressing stuff left and right. They never knew that anything was going to be a collector's item. I mean, they didn't know that the My Boy sticker on Good Times was going to be one of the most valuable stickers ever made. They didn't know all these different things. And I know RCA was doing a lot of experiments around the time because like I told you in the last show, I knew somebody from the factory who I interviewed for over an hour who told me about all these different things that they did around the time Elvis died, including the experimental legendary performer picture disc, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so so who decided this? They put it on black, okay, and they supposedly did this to make it a collector's item. I don't know. That seems weird to me. Third, if it was decided to to go back to blue after Elvis died, how did it how long did it take to make that decision, and how quickly was it done? Because that had to be pretty quick, right? Elvis dies on the 16th of August. Somebody in the executive office says, "Hey, Elvis is dead. I got a great idea. Let's shift everything to blue. Let's put it back to blue, in memory of Elvis or whatever." I mean, what was the basis of that decision? I'm lost. I don't understand why somebody would all of a sudden decide they're going to shift it back. Okay, I may be making a big deal out of nothing here, but just I mean, if you're going to go by logic here, why would anybody do that? Why would they say, "Oh, you know what? He's dead, so we're going to go to blue now," because it was pretty, it looked good before, so let's go back to blue. I mean, were they sitting there thinking, well, you know what? That'll make the black one worth more. It's going to be a big collector's item. Is that what they were thinking? I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Okay. But most important, how can a collector tell if he or she has the very first blue pressing? I mean, let's say it's true. Okay, there was blue, then black, then blue. Then how do you know that you have the first blue copy, the blue pressing? You know, isn't there something that would make that distinction? I mean, we know about the stickers, right? And I know for a fact that the black vinyl did not have that blue album sticker on it, right? So the question is, was that blue album sticker on it before it went black? And then they removed the sticker? And then when they went back to blue, they put the sticker back on, which would make things just even more confusing? Or if it was blue to begin with, why wouldn't the blue record be inside the cover with just the hype sticker for the songs? That would make sense. Why would they, would they do it that way? It's confusing. And finally, wouldn't there be then four pressings of Moody Blue instead of three? Because think about it. If they did have a blue and then a black and then a blue, and then of course in the 80s they went back to black, that would be four pressings, not three. All right, so if that's the case, all right, we have four pressings, all right? I'm not saying it's not true. Maybe it is, all right? If there's four pressings, then how do we distinctively know that which of the blue vinyls is the first one and which one is the third one? Okay, so Johnny B, all right, we were talking about this, and John had looked it up somewhere on the internet where some guy had done the research on this, and he said there is a distinctive difference between them. Okay, and that's what I'm going to talk about here. All right, in Moody Blue, this one's an open copy, by the way. But this copy came from a very reliable source. It came from a man who actually worked with Felton Jarvis. Okay, so when John and I were talking, John said, "You remember those Moody Blue albums you bought?" Because I had bought a box of Moody Blue albums from this guy. They actually were in an RCA box. Okay, and there was 24 copies or however many copies come in that box. I can't remember, but anyway. I remember just opening up the box and thinking, oh, well, they're all blue because it says the Blue Album, yada, yada. Since that guy knew Felton Jarvis, then obviously, if he got those records right from RCA, then they're probably the first presses. So, in conjunction with what he had read about the difference between the first pressings of Moody Blue and the third of Moody Blue, the first pressings have an etched number. So I opened this one up and looked inside, and there's no way you're going to be able to see this, no matter what I do. But right in here, there's, and I know you can't see it. If there's a way I can make it better or clearer, I'll do it. In the trail off here, okay, it says AFL 1, and then it has 2423, and then A-1S, okay? Then down below that, there's some weird writing about that says Masterphonics EPM or something like that, or LPM, something like that. Okay. The trail off numbers in here are etched, meaning that it looks like someone actually etched them like a handwriting, okay, in here. Now, according to this thing he read, all of the very first Moody Blues were hand etched. And he said the later ones were stamped. Most of Elvis's LPs were stamped. I have the black, right? So it was already open, but I checked my black and I looked on here, and sure enough, it is stamped. So that means that the very first Moody Blues were etched and the black one was stamped. So that means that the third pressing of Moody Blue on blue vinyl would be stamped. Now, Moody Blue is not hard to find. So ever since we talked about this, John and I went to a couple places that I know that have records, and sure enough, you can go to just about any store and find Moody Blue in just about any store. And I found 3 copies there, and I looked at all 3 copies, and one of them was etched, and the other 2 were stamped. So, if this is all true, and there are 4 pressings of Moody Blue, and you are a true collector, then the one that you want is this one that's etched, with the numbers etched, where they look like they're handwritten. That's the Moody Blue you want. That's the very first pressing of Moody Blue, no matter what cover it's in. Like I said, this happens to have both stickers. But then again, you know what? If this is the first pressing, then it did have both stickers, and they did take this sticker off. Ugh, I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. But there's a very, very good possibility that that's true. So if it is, then Moody Blue has 4 pressings, not 3. And those of you who are collectors, you're going to have to check your Moody Blues out, which means you may have to open it if it's sealed and see which one you have to make your collection complete. Like I said, I never thought I'd be spending that much time on Moody Blue. But you know what? It's interesting because that's what collecting is all about, right? You find out new things and you make these discoveries, and they're pretty cool. So let's move on. As promised, this show is titled Viva Las Vegas, and I wanted to talk about all the things related to Elvis's performances in Vegas, and the souvenirs they sold to fans, and souvenirs that fans decided to take home with them that weren't for sale but were on display. And the concerts themselves. These are all things I wanted to talk about. The thing is, once I started preparing for the show, I realized that's a lot of stuff to cover in, a half hour to 45 minutes. So I figured what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down. We'll just go, this show is going to be Viva Las Vegas Part 1. And in this particular show, we're going to pay attention to just some of the items that I personally have that came from Al Dvorin's collection. And some of that stuff I had showed you in Elvis on Tour was from his collection as well. And that stuff was all authentic stuff that was sold in concerts when Elvis was on tour. But Al also had several items that were exclusive to Las Vegas. So that's what I'm going to show you here. First of all, Elvis played a string of 636 concerts in Las Vegas. Nowadays, concerts and performances by artists are much shorter. Elvis Presley first performed in Las Vegas at the International Hotel on July 31st, 1969. And one of the most awesome Las Vegas related memorabilia pieces that I've ever owned was the contract that Elvis had signed to return to live performances in Las Vegas. And instead of showing you that here again, just go to one of my other shows, episode 8. There's Gold in the Mountains, and you can see what that contract from 1969 looked like. Just like when Elvis was on tour throughout the country, there were many souvenirs sold at his shows. Billionaire investor Kirk Kerkorian opened the property in 1969 as the International Hotel, then sold it to the Hilton chain. It then became the Las Vegas Hilton in 1971. There were tour books in Vegas. There were some tour books that were exclusive, just to Elvis's shows in Vegas, but there weren't many. To my knowledge, I think there was maybe one or two in the very beginning. But when Elvis started touring, the books were sold everywhere. So they weren't just exclusive to Vegas. They were also sold on tour. And I showed you several of those books the last time. So there's no need to go over those again. Okay. Now, souvenir photos are different. There are some photos in Vegas that were exclusive to Las Vegas, and I do have some of those here. One of them is this really cool picture here. This is a promotional photo, 8x10, which was available at the souvenir stands. I heard conflicting opinions. Some people said that this was sold for like $1. But then someone also told me that it was a promotional piece that they were just given away, because on the flip side is the box set, a color ad for the box set. So that would kind of make sense that maybe this photo here was used to promote the box set, and they just kind of give these things out. But either way, it's kind of a cool piece to have, and that's a great picture of Elvis right there. All right, so this is exclusively for Las Vegas. Another example of a Vegas photo is this. This was exclusively for Las Vegas. However, there were some of these that were on tour, and they were, you could tell the difference because if you look down below, there's the Hilton logo, okay, which means that this was probably handed out or sold at the Las Vegas Hilton, okay, at the time that it came out. But on the back is a map showing Elvis's tour, okay. So, yeah, there's a chance that these could have ended up on tour, but I know for a fact that this one, because it has the Hilton logo, was from Vegas. And then there was one without the Hilton logo that you could get on tour. That was wherever he toured. Okay, so this was a exclusive, but it has to have the Hilton logo on it. Now here's a strange 8x10 photo. A lot of rumors about this photo, how it came to be. Everybody knows about Burning Love, the song. There was a Camden album that came out. Okay, and when you bought the album, you got a bonus photo, right? And this is the bonus photo for Burning Love, right? Okay, well, surprise, surprise, it's blank on the back. So this was really strange because the very first time I ever saw this photo, I was in Las Vegas. And my wife and I used to go there all the time in the 90s. And I remember seeing one of these in a... it might have even been that Vegas memorabilia or a museum, the Elvis Museum that used to be out there. But I always thought it was weird because there's this photo and there was no blank and there was no catalog information on the back. All right. So later on, someone had told me a woman in a fan club had said, "Oh, well, those were something the Colonel gave out to fan clubs." Okay. All right, fine. So I assumed that was that. However, when I saw Al Dvorin's collection, and he had this photo and several of them, all right, there was information in some of the paperwork that he had about these photos, how they were pressed and everything for Las Vegas. This was actually to promote Burning Love. Okay. However, there's no indication on the back of what it was for, so I don't know if they just kept that off. The catalog off or what, and they were just selling it as a photo. I don't know. Maybe they wanted to put the catalog on just the photo for, the album Burning Love. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. But whatever, this is definitely from Las Vegas. That's where this thing was first used. It may have been sent to fan clubs. I don't know. But I never saw this in 72 or 76 or 77 when I saw him in Chicago. So that's what I understand about this photo. So this, you'd have to say, would be a Vegas photo. Okay. Let's see. These are kind of cool. These are, there's a big mystery about these things here. Let me show them to you. This is beautiful. This, as you can see, is a, if I do this just the right way, you see a reflection of Carol on the camera. Uh-oh. There she is. No, you can't see her. I'm just kidding. Okay, so anyway, this is a, what is this? This is a foil picture of Elvis, okay? And of course it shines. It's red, okay? And then if you'll notice, we have a green one as well. So red and green equals Christmas, maybe. I don't know. Again, this is something I'm not sure about because I've heard different stories about it. Again, this is something that Al Dvorin had several copies of, and I believe that this was a display type of thing, where they had a display rack or something, and they needed pictures of Elvis, and so they would staple these up on a souvenir stand or whatever. I'm not really sure the whole thing behind it, but for some reason. These look to me like they were made for that purpose. Now, there are some people that said that these were sold as souvenirs in Vegas. You could go up and buy them. I know they weren't ever, as far as I know, unless you know differently. I've never seen these on sale, when Elvis was touring. Not, like I said, at the 3 concerts I saw, nothing was like this. But then again, this picture is from Aloha, from Hawaii, which dates this at about 1974. So I don't know. Maybe these were Vegas souvenirs. Maybe they were something used in Vegas, to promote Elvis' performance there. But either way, they came from Vegas. Whether they ended up somewhere else, I don't know. But these are definitely Vegas pieces of memorabilia. Pretty cool, actually. The red and green are cool. Maybe they were like this for Christmas, for these holiday shows. I don't know, because Elvis would have these like pre-holiday shows, like on a poster I'm going to show you in a little bit here. But maybe that's what they were for. Okay, so moving along here, couple cool things. Might as well get this out of the way. Okay, I got to adjust my microphone here. Keeps dropping. Okay. Oh, don't want it blocking this. Okay. So a lot of people know what this is. Okay. Although I have to be completely honest, this is not an original hat. Okay, this is a styrofoam hat, but it's a styrofoam hat that I found somewhere else. I can't remember, in an antique mall or something like that. And it was interesting because Al had the banners that go on the hat. All right, and you can see it says Elvis. Oop, the Elvis is covered up. Summer Festival. Oh, and there it is, Elvis. And then right there, you'll see the International Hotel logo, which is right there. I'll probably zoom in on that so you can see it. Okay. So these were actual banners that went on these hats. Like I said, I just happened to find a hat like this, and I put the banner on there just to see what it looks like. Who knows? I mean, who would even know the difference if it was a new hat or an old hat? These things are styrofoam. There's no dates on them. They're cheap. But anyway, this is a Summer Festival hat, and this is a banner. These banners, here is the orange banner, okay, that goes on the hat. And here is the white banner. And, of course, we have a few of these. I'm going to open this up. This is going to take forever to put it back. But here is the International Hotel Summer Festival banner. So these are kind of cool because these are obviously, these were printed up before the hats. And I guess, they just ordered a bunch of, styrofoam hats from a company that made styrofoam hats, which is why it probably doesn't matter if that where that hat came from, because the most important thing is the banner. This is an interesting necklace that I had forgot about, and I had showed a necklace on the last show, and believe it or not, I sold them all, so they're gone. But it was a gold necklace that had this picture, as a matter of fact, of Elvis. Okay, like in the gold, it was kind of like molded into the gold, and then the backside it said "Thanks Elvis" or whatever. It had the standard facsimile thank you or Elvis signature that RCA always put on all their stuff, and All Star shows did. So no surprise that here is another necklace, which I believe is could very well be Vegas, although it could also be a tour item too. I just found this, so let me see if I put it right there. You can see it. I just found this, so I don't know exactly if it's Vegas, but I wanted to show it to you because I just kind of uncovered it. But this is a necklace here, and it's got a picture of Elvis in the middle. And judging from the picture, I'd have to say that picture is probably from, wow, it's probably from 74, is my guess. Okay. Anyway, so there's a 74 picture in there. It does say "I love Elvis" around it. But again, just like typical All Star shows and souvenirs, the stuff they do for souvenirs, they put the signature on the back. So on the back, it says, I can hold it here. On the back, it says "Sincerely Elvis" with the signature. Okay. So here's the front, right? And then the back. Okay. So I'm not 100% sure that this is Vegas, but either way, it's definitely a tour item. It's definitely a tour souvenir. If any of you recognize it from your times seeing Elvis in concert, let me know. I'm pretty sure it's like 1974, and even if it's not Vegas, it's definitely a tour item, and it's pretty cool actually. So if you collect Vegas memorabilia, you probably would want one of these. Here's the really cool buttons. The people, the employees, okay, who worked at the hotel would have the same button, but it would have the Hilton logo on it. So let's see if I can show that. It's hard to, but if you'll notice this one on the white part of his suit, you see a Hilton logo. Okay, these buttons, to my understanding, were worn by the employees. So there weren't as many of them as the ones that you actually bought on tour. So from a collecting standpoint, most people are looking for the Hilton buttons like this. But even more so, there was an international hotel button which people are looking for, which looked very much like this one, which happens to be from Sahara Tahoe. And the Sahara Tahoe stuff, folks, is definitely much more rare than the international hotel stuff because he just didn't do that much Sahara Tahoe stuff, and to find stuff from there is kind of cool because it's hard to find. But anyway, this one here, it says Elvis Summer Festival, and it says Sahara Tahoe, and then I think it says RCA Records. Well, there's an identical button to this, okay, that's out there that has the International Hotel. It says everything the same except it says International Hotel at the bottom and maybe RCA Records. So these buttons are probably the more collectible and more sought after of all of the souvenir buttons because they have the logos to Sahara Tahoe, International Hotel, and the Hilton. Okay, next we have, whenever it was typical that when you go to Las Vegas, right, you want to brag to everybody that you're in Las Vegas, and especially if you're going to see Elvis, you want to be able to get a postcard and send it to somebody and say, haha, I'm seeing Elvis, you're not, okay? So it's only logical that there would be postcards in Las Vegas with Elvis on them. So here's some of the unique postcards that were in Las Vegas. This one is pretty cool. This one here, there are two big posters with these images on them, okay? So you know for sure that this had to come from like 1970, all right? Okay, and the reason why also is because on the back it says Summer Festival 1970. Okay, and that's how you can tell where it's from and what time period. But anyway, these are pretty cool. These are postcards. You can see where you can put your little stamp up there and send it to your friends or whatever. But these two images were very much used to promote Elvis at the International Hotel. And of course, like I said, there was a poster, and then after the poster, they were actually on menus where you had a menu with this picture on it, and you turn it over, and it was a menu. And of course, unfortunately, I don't have any menus to show you, but I'll talk about that in the next Viva Las Vegas show. Then again, another postcard with that very same image, except this one is larger, okay? And on the back, it promotes worldwide Gold Award hits, okay? So again, you can tell this is something that was RCA Las Vegas related because they really pushed that box set in Vegas quite a bit. I don't think these were sold at the souvenir stands, but probably at the Hilton itself. But here is the Hilton postcard. And as you can see, it's a picture of the Hilton and of the hotel itself with Elvis going down the side of the hotel. I don't know if that's a real picture or if they just superimposed his name on the hotel. I probably did that. But anyway, again, pretty cool because if you look on the back, you have your Hilton logos, all right, in all four corners. Okay. So this is cool. Even though it's not a picture of Elvis, it's a great piece of memorabilia from that time period. And obviously, if this is the Hilton, then you're looking at what, 1973, 74, whenever it was. Oh, that's right. It was 71 that Krikorian sold it. So anytime after 70, I'd say 72 or beyond. All right. This postcard was probably in the lobbies or in the gift shops that you could buy. Here's an interesting thing. These are two cards here. I wanted to show you both of them. A lot of collectors already know about these cards. These are Christmas cards or postcards. Okay. And of course, they were probably available just about anywhere. I mean, I don't remember them in on the souvenir stands in Chicago, but that doesn't mean that they didn't have them there. But the reason why I'm showing them to you is because one of them, you'll notice, has just a regular blank back for like a postcard normally has. Okay, and then but this one here has the Hilton logo, which means this came from, the Las Vegas Hilton, which is pretty cool. So, those of you who collect these things, you're going to have to look and see if your Elvis Christmas card is a regular one or if it's from the Hilton. Another postcard. This is my favorite postcard because it's just a killer shot of Elvis from That's the Way It Is. And it's just a regular picture of him. Probably a still, from the movie, and it has the typical "Thanks Elvis." Like I said, all of the boxcar and All Star shows have. So they have "Thanks Elvis" down in the corner. Great shot of him in action. And then, of course, on the back, it's from the International Hotel. So this obviously came out just before 71. So probably 70, 71 is around this time when this came out. But this one says Elvis Now, International Hotel, here Elvis on RCA Records and Tapes, which a lot of banners and stuff had in the lobby. And unfortunately, I don't have any of that stuff to show you in this episode, but in future episodes, I'll show you some banners and we'll go into some of the decorations that was around the hotel. Although I do have a couple things to show you. But anyway, I just love that card. I think it's so cool. I think I even have a copy of this card I put with That's the Way It Is. Just my copy of That's the Way It Is, as if it was like a bonus photo or something. But I love that. And then here's something that's unique. Again, all of this stuff is from Al Dvorin's collection, like I said. And Al had these. This is a Christmas card, okay? And it's kind of weird because it looks like it's handwritten. And so even smeared. So you almost wonder if it is handwritten, but I don't think so because I think they all look like this. They're probably stamped. But it says, "Best wishes, the Colonel." Okay. Then on the back, it has the Colonel's logo, Colonel Parker, Colonel Thomas A. Parker. And then it has his address, P.O. Box in Madison, Tennessee on the back. And then inside, Here is a Christmas card, and this is from the Colonel. And I'll tell you why I know it's from Vegas, because anybody who's been in Vegas, especially after Elvis died, and I'm pretty sure this is like 1978 or 79, right after Elvis died, you may recall a book that was in the lobby of the hotel, which has a picture of the Colonel and Elvis on it. But on the back of the book is this ad you see right here. Johnny B knows about this because he and I went to Vegas, and one of the first times we ever went there in the early 90s, we went to the Hilton and found that book. I think he bought a copy and I bought a copy. But anyway, again, there's from the Colonel Parker right there, and there is Season's Greetings. And it's kind of a cool little, memento from the Colonel. These are cool. This is many of you have seen these, but what these are is this 1972 record catalog. And if you open it up, you'll see it has different things in there. Um, anyway, basically it shows what albums are available. Okay, I kind of open this up a little bit, try to give you an idea here of what's inside, and then it even lists. Domestic sales, how things are selling. It lists the gold standard singles. What else does this thing have? Oh, it has all of Elvis's movies listed. You know what? I see these things 1,000 times, and I don't think I ever opened one up. I got them in the store when I was a kid and never even looked at what was inside. There's his sacred albums. Okay. What else is in here? This is actually interesting. Oh, and then all of his sacred songs, every single song, and what albums they are on, including how great they are and all that. Oh, and here we go, Stereo 8 catalog. So this probably is cool because this tells you how many Elvis records actually came out on 8-track. All right. Is there cassette? Ah, there's cassette. You know what? I am going to do a whole show on cassettes, folks. I got to tell you, because I've become psychotic about cassettes ever since I did that show with Joe Tunzi. So get ready. There's going to be a cassette show coming up, whether you like it or not. But when you find out some of the stuff I found out about cassettes, you won't believe it. Like one selling recently for $184 for a cassette. I never ever opened this thing up and looked at this. I'm going to have to do that myself. And of course, the Camden albums. There they are. Up to the point of the time that this came out, which I think is I Got Lucky. And then after this, there was Burning Love and Separate Ways. And then Elvis tour dates. That's pretty cool. And then along with that, you also got showroom appearances. 1969 at the International Hotel and all the way through to 71 at the Sahara Tahoe. So anyway, so after all that, here's the deal. Okay, if you get them in the stores, they look like this. You get them in Vegas, they look like this. So I'm not saying that they all were like this, but I know for a fact, friends of mine who went to Vegas, who saw him in Vegas, said yes, that these catalogs were there. I don't know if you bought them or they gave them out at the souvenir stands, but you can see it that right there. There's a plug for Elvis at the Las Vegas Hilton in 1972 from January 26th through February 23rd or 22nd. Oh, 23rd. Okay. So these are collectible, but they're more valuable if you can actually find them with the Vegas back. So here's another one here. This is from 71. This is a record catalog, okay? And same in content as probably the other one, all right, with all that information. But again, on the back, it says International Hotel. The other one said, let's see, the other one says Hilton. No, the other one's International too. But this one is his performance or show from January 26th through February 23rd, 1971. Okay. So this one is kind of cool because it has that image again. There's that same image that's on that postcard, right? Am I right? Yep, look at, here it is again. That same image. They kept using it over and over again back in the early 70s. Okay. So anyway, so the value again, it's cool to have this without the backing, but the value lies in the fact that it's a promo for the International Hotel appearances, and it was probably a Vegas souvenir. This is also a record and tape catalog. It's very much like this. Okay, it's like this one here. Okay, but the thing about this one is this is from 1969. Okay, so these were, from my understanding, available at Elvis's 69 premiere when he first debuted at the International Hotel. These were available. I don't know if they were free or what, but I have some reliable sources that told me that these catalogs were there. And these catalogs were also inside the box, the International Hotel box. It was a special box that they gave out to, I don't know, the first 100 or so people that went to see Elvis live at the International Hotel. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you, all right, is going to take a little bit of effort here. So let me see if I can put this together for you, okay? All right, I'll be right back. Speaking of items that were not necessarily going to be souvenirs sold at the souvenir stands, there were posters and things like that that were in the lobby that sometimes people would rip off and take home with them. And this is one of them. This is a poster that hung in the Hilton. And of course, I'm all dark and everything here, but you don't want to see me anyway. Let me put this back and you can see it even better. But this is a poster that was in the probably in the hallways or something, or maybe on an easel or something. And this was advertising the pre-holiday concerts. And you'll notice there's that postcard. I don't know if that's the same postcard with Santa and whatever, where there was a Hilton one and one that wasn't a Hilton one. But anyway, so there's the postcards down there, so you can see they came from the Hilton. And there's the Hilton logo right there. But this is an actual poster that was in Las Vegas, and it was like I said, somewhere in the lobby. All right, so this is kind of cool. Okay, and last but not least, everybody's heard about the stories where Elvis this would decide at the last minute that he was going to do like a show like at 3 in the morning. And they had to throw this thing together real fast because it was not advertised that he was going to do a 3 a.m. show, right? So they would have to do something like this. This is an actual poster, okay? And again, this is from Dvorin's collection. If I go this way and you go this way, here we go. This poster was from I guess the Hilton Hotel, and this is advertising what is it? Sunday morning, September 2nd, 3 a.m. I mean, Elvis must have really had some serious insomnia problems or something there. But this is an actual poster that they threw together real fast. I mean, if you saw this thing up close, it's a glossy cover. It's very glossy on this side, but this side is very dull, okay? And it's just a regular poster board. It's almost as if, Al called up somebody at a printing shop and said, listen, I need a poster that says this, that, and here's a picture of Elvis. Put it together for me because he's going to do this show. And that's why this poster looks so funky. It looks like it's almost like a fan made or something. Like it's not really the real thing, but it is the real thing. Like I said, it came from Dvorin's collection. And these were also made smaller. So there's smaller ones of this that are like green and pink and whatever. And they used to put them in the inside the restaurants. And sometimes, in the shops, the gift shops, to promote the show. So anyway, this is another cool piece of memorabilia. It's not, like I said, you couldn't buy it, but it's from Las Vegas. So another cool piece there. And one last thing I want to mention is I got a phone call from a Elvis fan that I've known for many, many, many years. And it was great to hear from him. And he actually watched the show, and that's how he decided to give me a call. So it's great to be able to reach out and meet people by doing the show, and people all of a sudden out of nowhere give me a call or send me an email and say, hey, I remember you from Memphis and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, a good friend of mine, his name is Brian Clark, and he is a fantastic artist. There was a time when I was going to do a Las Vegas price guide because I love Las Vegas memorabilia. It was a bit of a passion for me many years ago. So I started putting together a book. I started actually putting it together and marking things down and pricing things and this and that and menus and things that I haven't talked about in this show, but we will in future shows. Brian decided that he was going to do a picture, which I'm going to show you right now, that he asked if I would put in the book. Well, Brian, I never did the book. I never did it. Although I'm going to show you a picture right now, those of you watching. Right now, you're going to see a picture that was going to go on the cover of the book. It's a pretty cool picture. It's several items are from a friend of mine who is a collector. And you'll notice in the picture that there's, the hound dogs and some of the cool things that were from Las Vegas. But this picture and then another picture that I'm showing, one of these two pictures was going to be on the cover of the book. Okay, so that's what you're looking at now. But now getting back to Brian, Brian did this cool picture of me putting together the book, which was pretty cool. And not too many people have actually seen this. I mean, this has been sitting around my house in a frame for years and years and years. Anyway, look at this, folks. This is so cool. And Brian, I'm so glad you called me and I got a chance to show everybody your work because you're fantastic cartoonist. And I know your inspiration is Mort Drucker, who was one of my favorite cartoonists from Mad Magazine. And this is just really, really cool. It's got all, I don't know what I'm holding in there, but it's all kinds of weird stuff. Like you got menus. It's so detailed. Like even the giant letters that hung on the outside of the International Hotel is there. That's what where these are the letters that go on outside the hotel and the banners. Very, very clever. But anyway, thank you, Brian. I think it's such a cool thing, and I hope you keep watching the show. And I guess I'll never make that book, but I'm doing shows, and I guess that's the next best thing. All right, everybody. Last couple things here is just want to remind everybody that everything you saw on the show is for sale. All of the Al Dvorin stuff that I just showed you is for sale. If you're interested, contact me at collectingtheking@gmail.com, which you should see at the screen just below me, and send me an email. Let me know what you're looking at. I know I've been selling stuff here and there. As I said in the last show, I've been doing a film, so I'm working on a movie at the same time as doing this. So my time has been very limited. Again, I apologize for not getting things done quicker. But once the movie's done, I'm going to be able to dedicate more time to doing this. But anyway, if you see anything you're interested in, just send me an email. I'll be glad to tell you what the price is, and we can figure out shipping and all that kind of stuff, and I'll get it to you as soon as I possibly can. I was hoping I'd have more subscribers by now, but I don't. I think I'm at 550 or something like that. And I'm not complaining, but if you guys are Elvis fans and you really like what I'm doing and you're having a good time watching the show, and especially if you're a big fan of Johnny B, because he has this following now. And some person suggested that we have a segment every show called Rapid Fire with Johnny B. What the hell is that? What, Rapid Fire with Johnny B? I don't know. Anyway, it seems like he's getting more popular than me. But if you like me and Johnny B, then subscribe to the channel. Do that towards the end. Leave comments and let us know you're out there. And I think that's about wraps everything up. I will try to answer as many comments as I can. And hey, thanks again for watching the show. I appreciate it. I have a good time doing it. Thanks to Carol for running the camera and helping me out with this. And I am out of here.